Marrying a king might sound nice, but nothing prepares you for what it truly entails. The secrets, the isolation, the sacrifices hidden behind palace walls. For Janan Harb, a Christian Palestinian woman, her secret marriage to Saudi Arabia's most powerful man was supposed to be a fairy tale, but instead it turned out to be an absolute nightmare. She went from living in palaces and luxury to facing isolation and disgrace. And by the end, she was forced out of the kingdom, exiled from the only life she'd known, banned from seeing her husband's family, and dragged through endless courtroom battles just to make her voice heard. Her once private life became a spectacle, forcing her to endure public humiliation, all in the fight to reveal her truth. Curious yet? Well, stick around, because today we're peeling back the layers on one of the most fascinating, most mysterious love stories that took a dark turn. From secret weddings to heartache, from palace whispers to courtroom dramas. This is the story of Janan Harb. Let's start at the beginning. Janan Harb actually didn't start her life as a royalty or with royalty in mind. She was a Christian Palestinian woman from the little town of Ramallah in Palestine who was living a relatively simple life, far from the gold-lined halls of a Saudi palace. But then she met Prince Fahd at a party in Jeddah. At that time, he wasn't the king of Saudi Arabia yet, but he was a powerful prince, one of the most influential men in the entire kingdom. Known for his charisma, Prince Fahd had a magnetic charm that captivated everyone around him. And Janan, like so many others, found herself drawn into his world, a world she could never have imagined for herself. In her words, the prince was a bit of a sweet talker, promising her the world. And maybe in those early days, he genuinely meant every word. Prince Fahd courted her, made her feel seen and cherished, and ultimately he asked her to marry him. For a simple girl from modest backgrounds, this was a dream come true. But there was a catch. This wasn't a marriage meant for public eyes. For reasons known only to the prince and his closest confidants, their union had to stay hidden. Janan agreed, imagining a life where she would be the prince's beloved even if hidden from the world. Perhaps she thought love would be enough. Oh, how naive. Regardless, marrying into the Saudi royal family as a Christian Palestinian woman was no small feat. We know how strict Saudi Arabia can be with religious customs that would hardly welcome a Christian woman in the palace. So to smooth the backlash, Janan secretly converted to Islam before the marriage, a personal sacrifice to be with the man she loved. To her, it must have felt like an unbelievable whirlwind. One moment she was living a quiet, modest life, and the next she was secretly marrying a prince from one of the world's most powerful kingdoms. Despite the secrecy, she still held on to the hope that they could make it work, that love would somehow be enough to conquer. But it wasn't long before reality set in and cracks began to show in her fairy tale. After the marriage, Janan quickly realized that royal life wasn't what she had imagined, and being the prince's secret wife made it even harder. From the start, her life was controlled and watched. Every move, every word, every outfit was under intense scrutiny by the prince. Even within the palace, there were strict rules she had to follow. Places she could go, people she could speak to, all unspoken, left for her to figure out on her own. And because the outside world couldn't know about her marriage, she spent a lot of time hidden away, isolated, with few people to talk to and nowhere really to turn. What had once felt like a fairy tale was now starting to feel like a prison, but a really fancy prison. Now you might be wondering, why would the prince go to such lengths to keep her a secret? After all, he was one of the most powerful men in the kingdom. Well, you see, for a family like the Saudi royal family, tradition and reputation were everything. If word got out that the prince had secretly married a Christian woman, it could have sparked some controversy, maybe even put his position and respect within the family at risk. As the future king, he was expected to be the custodian of tradition, a leader by example. Anything outside of that strict image risked not only his own reputation, but the dignity and respect of the entire royal household. And if that wasn't enough, Janan's hopes of building a family with the prince were met with heartbreak after heartbreak. She revealed that the prince had forced her not once, but 3 separate times to let go of her pregnancy. Here she was, dreaming of a life and family with the man she loved, only to be put through unimaginable pain. Each time, it painfully sank in that her life, her choices were never really hers to make. Janan's story took an even darker and more painful turn when she realized that she had pretty much been abandoned by the one person she thought she could trust, her husband, the prince. Despite his promises, he didn't even try to shield her and protect her from the royal family's disapproval. Soon enough, the whispers started growing louder, the judgment became harsher, and the isolation deeper. Every day felt like she was drifting further from the life she'd dreamed of, until finally the family made their decision. Janan had to go. Yes, you heard that right. Janan was sent into exile, brutally torn from the kingdom she once believed would be her forever home. Just like that, the life she'd built with Prince Fuad shattered. She was left alone in a foreign land, separated from the man who had been once her everything. There was no explanation to offer the outside world, no way to make sense of it. The prince, the love of her life, was now beyond her reach, bound by his duty to the kingdom rather than his love for her. Her fairy tale had officially turned into a nightmare. Janan wasn't about to take this humiliation lying down. Determined to make her story known, she took her case to court, hoping that this time she'd finally find justice. She claimed that after being cast aside, she had also been left financially abandoned. Janan demanded recognition of her marriage and the compensation she'd been promised for a life she had built and ultimately lost. Now, this was a bold move, if you ask me. Janan wasn't just taking anyone to court, she was taking on the Saudi royal family, one of the world's most powerful dynasties, worth over $1 trillion. She really does have some guts. It took time, but Janan's fight was far from over. In 2015, after years of so much back and forth and crazy persistence, Janan scored a major victory when a UK judge awarded her €12 million and 2 luxury apartments in London. This was compensation that she claimed Prince Fuad's son had promised her. But the victory was brief. Just a year later, the Court of Appeal overturned the ruling, nullifying her hard-won settlement. The appeals court found issues with the initial judgment, reversing the decision and leaving Janan back at square one. The case captured international attention, with people following closely, wondering if she would find justice. As of now, no further legal action has been taken, and Janan's story stands as a lasting example of one woman's fight for truth, recognition, and justice against one of the world's most powerful families. How do you think this is going to end? Let us know in the comments below. After all of the courtroom battles, heartbreak, and years of fighting to have her voice heard, Janan Harb has chosen a quieter life, away from the public eye. Following her high-profile legal struggles with the Saudi royal family in the 2010s, there's been little news about her personal life or what she's been doing today. As of now, Janan seems to have found a sense of peace living far from the kingdom that once held her dreams in her darkest days. As of November 2024, Janan Harb's whereabouts and activities remain private, and she has not even made any recent public statements or appearances. So what do you think? Is this a love story that took a wrong turn? Or was it a tale that was doomed from the start? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you're curious about more stories of love, royalty, and the untold tales behind closed palace doors, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, because there's always more to discover, and you won't want to miss it. And there you have it, the story of Janan Harb, the Christian Palestinian woman who dared to love a Saudi prince. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.